So 2015, eyes all around the world are really focused here in Europe for the Mediterranean refugee crisis. And as tech professionals, everyone was flocking to see what they could do. But we noticed something really interesting, which was out of all of the great work that was being done, something really important was missing.
The insight and the understanding of a broader spectrum of the problems that were being addressed, because half of refugees are women.
Actually, more than that. Worldwide, it's 85% are women and girls.
Oh, there you go. And the London tech scene, which is where we were based initially, 80% male. And I think that what really struck us was that it's very hard to design effectively for problems that you don't really understand, or you don't have a deep first-hand meaning of, first-hand understanding of.
And so there seemed to be an opportunity there, considering that the majority of refugees worldwide were women and girls, but there were no solutions being specifically targeted to women and girls, and so we started EmpowerHack.
EmpowerHack is a volunteer tech community based around finding solutions to the issues faced by refugee women and girls in humanitarian contexts.
And we've grown a lot in the last year, right? What are some of the cities that have joined us?
We've had events in London, we've run events in Ghana and in Amsterdam. Right now, globally, we've got 350 volunteers. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting is when we started looking at the issues that are really important to both us and also vulnerable women and girls, we suddenly realized that we were really united. For example, education, reproductive health, and more. So let's go ahead and what are some of the great projects that we have underway with EmpowerHack? One of the things that has been getting a lot of attention is the fact that there's a lot of pregnant women refugees on the road who get little to no antenatal and prenatal care, and so we set out to do something about that. So what's the project, Kimmy?
Our project is actually our flagship. It's called Habibi, which is a lovely play on the word Habibi, which is in Arabic it means my darling. Habibi is a red flag triage symptom checker for pregnant women on the go. We are also currently looking to implement a kind of ad hoc on-the-go health record collator, which will help when sometimes refugee women may not have access to their documentation.
So we've been really fortunate to focus on partnerships first. So the things that we believe in at EmpowerHack are building for partnership, building for sustainability, and building for accessibility. So what does that mean to you, Kimmy?
I believe that no app should ever be created in a bubble. I think solutions need to be aligned and designed from the get-go to the practical use and sustainability of the partner and the deployment to the far end. I think that in every tenet of your design, you should take into account and constantly iterate with the people who it could potentially help.
So we think a lot about what sustainable humanitarian technology means, and that's changed and shaped a lot of what we do at EmpowerHack. So one of the things that we always try to do is make all of our projects open source. We also encourage that instead of trying to do something first or trying to do something new, if somebody is actually already doing that project, to be able to join forces with them. So we've been really fortunate to have some great partners, including the Muslim Doctors Association, Doctors of the World, Médecins Sans Frontières, Terre de Home, and more. And speaking of Terre de Homes, there's a really great project around children and supporting children refugees and their psychological well-being. Kimmy, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So the project's called Draw My Life. It's a collection of art and drawings done by children in refugee camps. It comes together in a gallery, which helps to provide awareness and enlightenment for people, and can potentially help people in safer or slightly more fortunate situations understand what these children are actually going through.
I think that's really key, considering that now the UN has officially acknowledged that the majority of refugees coming through this crisis are women and children. Children and their well-being and their protection is top of mind, but it's actually really hard to consider how do you approach it in a creative and innovative way. So when our partners, Terre de Homes, approached us, and with this collection of children's drawings, they asked us, how can we actually give these children more of a voice and advocate for their psychological well-being? And something really exciting now is we're turning that into a platform where field workers can annotate that data and turn it into open source data. So we're working with the largest collection of humanitarian data in the world, Humanitarian Data Exchange, to be able to work with this sort of data. The exciting thing is that it's the very first time that this type of data is being uploaded to their system. Also, we're working with them to be able to create the very first gender UI icon on the Humanitarian Data Exchange to go ahead and highlight visibility for often invisible women's issues. So that's really, really exciting.
So why don't you tell us about one of our projects focusing on education?
So one of the things that happens when you look very, very deeply at particular sensitive issues, specifically around gender-based issues, is oftentimes it helps you find the connections to larger issues. So one of the projects that we're working in is education. And we know that women, and women refugees in particular, have trouble accessing and or continuing their education much more than a general refugee population. So we were on the lookout for a great project with a great charity that really helped inspire us, and that was the Jamia project. The Jamia project is one of the only projects in the world actually not just providing free higher education to Syrian refugees, but specifically, and this is what sets them apart, working with Syrian academics in exile to be able to teach the students that they once used to teach. So their great CEO then approached us to work with them on this new and exciting project called vocab. Kimmy, can you tell me about why vocab actually matters?
Vocab is exciting because it creates a platform where academics, as well as peers in a learning context, can interact with each other to work together to build a database that's easily accessible and open of higher language and education terms between English and right now between English and Arabic. For
specifically technical courses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's exciting in a lot of ways, but one of the real reasons that vocab shines is because a one-to-one translation often just is completely meaningless in these contexts. And also, something that I find interesting is method of learning is also often very, very different. So the great thing about vocab is it's trying to bridge the gap. Well, that actually is going a long way towards bridging the gap between a very foreign, very alien, very confusing learning environment and a language system that is not only more linguistically available, but is also so much more contextual and relevant than a one-to-one translation.
So that's really interesting. It's not just on the surface, it looks like just a translation app, but really it's about looking at how can we help students coming from other cultural contexts transition to new and different learning contexts. To be able to accelerate culturally sensitive, culturally relevant learning, particularly for higher education. So I think that's something that we actually probably do really, really well at, right, at EmpowerHack. We look deeper below the issue to the context surrounding the person. And something we like to say at EmpowerHack is the culture that you create is as important, or sometimes more important, as what you create. Because we know that if you're trying to tackle gender-based issues, it really starts here. So I'm really proud of what EmpowerHack has started to do.
Yep.
Are you really excited about what's next?
Yeah, I'm really excited about what we have in store for EmpowerHack. We have 3 of our major projects lined up for release by the end of this year. We're looking to streamline and expand our process so we can learn from what we've already done, build on our progress, and effectively manage our projects. And, hopefully in future we want to be working with some of you.
So definitely I have to say that EmpowerHack, I've met some of my favorite people in London, and we're really looking forward to meeting you. What's the easiest way for them to get in contact with us?
The easiest way is to go to volunteer.empowerhack.com and sign up.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Bye.